Good morning, students and the viewers. Now we are at assignment 3, session 2 of class 7 English language. Letter writing. Today is the topic for our discussion. There are two kinds of letters: formal and informal. Whether it is a formal or informal, each one has its own structure, the format. Today we will be learning how to write the informal letter. Prior to that, we should know whom we have to address this informal way of writing. The first and foremost, the parents and the grandparents, then the siblings, then the relatives, and the friends. These are the ones whom we shall address informally, because they know who we are, who the person is writing all about. That's why we address them informally. The neighbor could be also present. And even if you want to write a letter to the neighbor, provided they fall in any one of the categories, you are supposed to address them formally. The formal structure has to be followed. But now, today we will be learning about this informal way of writing letter. The first and foremost, the sender's address. Sender's address can be of two types: 2-line address and the 3-line address. Whatever the way that you want to prefer, you prefer it. But I prefer 3-line address. The last line should be with the full stop at the end. The rest of the lines followed by comma at the end. Punctuation marks are very essential. Learn it very carefully. Followed by leave the space. Then the date. The date should be written like this. For example, May 2020. The month has to be written in complete form. But the first letter should be capital letter. No punctuation mark when you write in the date, right? Then followed by the space. Then the salutation. What do you mean by salutation? Salutation in the sense addressing. Dear, my dear dad, my dear mother, my dear uncle, my dear auntie, my dear friend. The friend can be written with the name also. But be careful that you are not using any other language than that of the English, because you are writing the letter in English, that in English language. So English is a must. English is a must. So no other language is allowed. And the salutation you have written, my dear father, something like that. Then the body, leave the space, the body of the letter. The first line or the first sentence should be connected with the title given in the question paper. Then after that we can proceed with it. But it has to respond to the question first. The first sentence should be in connection with the title given. Then followed by the subscription. When you write this paragraph, better leave a space. When you write in paragraphs, leave a space, then proceed writing. Then after writing the body, leave a space, then the subscription. Write with love, which means who writes this with love, followed by comma. See, W capital, L small letter. Then yours affectionately, followed by comma. If you are not confident about this affectionately, the spelling, write yours lovingly, but no punctuation mark here, no apostrophe, nothing of that sort, right? So you have to be very careful in this. Then write only the personal name, not the full name, because they know who you are. For example, if it is Anil Kumar, you will write followed by full stop. So this is the format of the informal letter. So I will be sending you the PDF along with the assignment. Once you write in your fair notebook, write about the format first. Then the letter that I am sending you to the PDF, copy down that too also. Then write the assignment in different pages, so that you know what is the format, then how I have given you and how you have written. You can cross check. So this is about in this session. Thank you. Have a nice day. Good morning, students and viewers. Now we are the assignment 3, session 3 of class 7 English language. The sentence is our today's topic for discussion. What do you mean by sentence? A sentence is nothing but a group of words giving a complete meaning or complete sense or meaning. For an example, you are a student, so it gives you a complete meaning. I am a teacher, so it gives you a complete meaning. That's what is called sentence. Sentence has two parts: subject and predicate. What do you mean by subject? Subject is always a noun. Subject will be always a noun. For an example, it could be either a name of a person, or a name of a place, or name of a thing, or name of an animal, or name of a bird, or name of plant. So this is about the subject. Then what is the predicate? Something that follows the subject is called the predicate. The predicate could be a phrase or a group of words. It could be also only one word, because it has to have one verb. For example, they run. So this is the predicate. This is the predicate. In other words, we can also call it as a verb, but strictly speaking, it's a predicate. Right? Then another example will be they run fast. See, they run fast is the predicate and they is the subject. So this is what we call the subject and the predicate. Then something called the subject word. What do you mean by this subject word? Subject word is the sense there will be a word or a group of words that is more important in a sentence. That is called the subject word. For example, the old woman is sick. See, this woman is important. Whether it is old or young, that is not important. But the woman is important, but it's a qualifying one. Normally these adjectives will be followed by a noun. Right? So this is about the subject word. There are 4 kinds of sentences. The first one is assertive. Assertive in the sense, or sometimes it might be also called affirmative, declarative, or statement. How do you know this is an assertive type of sentence? For example, I told you I am a teacher. I am a teacher. See, it starts with the subject and ends with the full stop. Starts with the subject and ends with the full stop. So this is it to be called the assertive. It could be negative. See, I am a teacher. It's a positive. It is a positive one. And I am not a teacher. I am not a teacher. So this is negative. So not is here. So this is negative. Start with the subject and ends with the full stop. So this is about the affirmative. The second one is called the imperative type of sentence. Imperative in the sense it is either order or request. It could be either order or a request, or suggestion, or proposal, or giving an idea, or opinion, expressing one's own opinion, all those things. It will be called imperative. How do you know this is an imperative type of sentence? It will start with the verb and ends with the full stop. For example, come here. Come here. Start with the verb and ends with the full stop. It could be also negative. So this is positive. The negative in the sense, don't come here. Don't come here. Don't. Right? Not is here. So this is negative way of saying this imperative type of sentence. The third type is interrogative. Interrogative in the sense is the question type. There are three types of questions. Yes or no type of question, which means the answer should be either yes or no. Which means that the question should start with either the be verb, namely am, is, or, was, and where, shall be, and will be. It could be also starting with the modal auxiliaries. For an example, may, might, can, could, shall, would, will, should, has, have, had, does, did, do, all those words can be starting with. When you start a question like that, it will be either, the answer will be either yes or no. So that is the simple type of question. Then the second one is called the explanatory type of question. It means it needs some explanation. Question should start with WH. Where, when, why, who, whose, whom, like that. Then the third one is called rhetoric type. Rhetoric in the sense, it needs some methodology. How do you come to school? I come to school on foot. I come to school walking. So this is basically called rhetoric type. How do you know this is? So it should start with any one of this and ends with the question mark. Right? Then the fourth one is the explanatory. Which means it has to start with either an interjunction. Wow! How beautiful it is! Right? Alas! What a loss it is. So it should bring out a strong feeling, the emotions, commotions. But ends with the exclamatory mark. So that is what we call the exclamatory. Called exclamatory type of sentence. Exclamatory type of sentence. Once we know these types of sentences, then it is very easy for you to go through. There are some exercises you are supposed to interchange the types of sentences. For an example, he teaches well. Right? He teaches well. So this is affirmative type of sentence. Now it has to be made as an interrogative. How? Does he teach well? Does he teach well? See, I am dividing this word into two. So, does he teach well? Yes, he teaches well. No, he doesn't teach well. Right? So, I am taking this positive as well as negative. So, this is how you are supposed to interchange some of the sentences over in the exercise. I will be sending a PDF. Go through it, learn it nicely, and write down all the exercises in your book. There are some rearranging, shuffled words, jumbled words. So go through the sentence, which has to be given the first priority, then the followed ones, and the rest of the things. One more thing that I want to tell you. Don't think that always subject will be the first one. Right? It might be the other way about. For example, down came the rain. See, down came the rain. So in the poetic way of writing it is, right? So accordingly you are supposed to write, right? Up went the kite, which means what? The kite went up. So instead of bringing the noun first or the subject first, we are bringing the verb first and the noun. in order to make some meter, which means something adding color to the writing. So this is how we are supposed to proceed with. Go through the PDF, learn it nicely, and copy down everything in your book. So this is all in this session. Thank you. Have a nice day. Welcome students and the viewers for the assignment 3, session 4 of class 7 English language. In this session, we will be dealing with pronouns. What do you mean by pronoun? Pronouns in the sense something that comes in the place of the noun and playing a role of a noun. Something that comes in lieu of or instead of a noun is said to be called the pronoun. There are some kinds of pronouns. Let's see one by one. Personal pronouns. Personal pronouns in the sense we have to talk about ourselves or about the particular person or a particular thing. Anything of that sort, very precise in nature. There are something like this: I, we, you, he, she, it, and they. They are the personal pronouns. These two are said to be called the first person, and you is said to be called the second person, and the rest are said to be called the third person. Why is the first person? I should be existing first. In order to give myself an importance, this I is given. That's why it's called the first person. So I should belong to the community of my own or a group. That is why it's called this I and we are the first person. I alone cannot live. We alone cannot live unless otherwise some persons should be helping us. Other than we and I. Supposing I am talking to myself in a loud voice, you might be thinking that what happened, something over here, some crack or mentally off, something like that. So someone has to be listening. So when a coder is there, the decoder should be there, present. When the speaker is present, the listener should be present. So that there is a reaction or a response. That's why this is called the second person. Here we both of us have the direct contact. First person and second person, we have the direct contact. Because I am teaching you, you are listening. Any clarification, you are asking. So I am clearing your doubts. Right? So we have the direct contact. But the other persons, someone is there away from us. Either could be a male sex or female folk or other than that. It could be a thing, it could be a plant, it could be an animal. It could be a bird, anything of that sort. So they are said to be third person. So this is about the personal pronouns. Then the demonstrative pronoun. What is the demonstrative? Demonstrative in the sense this, that, these, and those. We are indicating certain things. So this is my classroom. This is the chalk. This is the chalk. This is the duster. So that is the shelf. So we are indicating certain things. We are demonstrating certain things. That's what is called the demonstrative pronouns. And emphatic. In order to give an emphasis, so we are giving that. For example, I, myself, did this. So see, no one helped me, but I myself have done it. So that's why it is called the emphatic or emphasizing. Just have a relation with this reflective. Just one difference here, right? See, I did this myself. I did this myself. If you notice here, this emphasizing one will fall before the verb. But here, after this verb, it comes after the verb. That is called a reflexive one. It reflects, right? So that is the reflexive one. That is the simple difference that you should know. Next, the possessive one. This is my classroom. This is my classroom. So this is or mine. This is mine or my classroom. My classroom. Not yours. It is mine. So we are possessing ourselves. Right? We do not want to be giving any other to take rights. Right? So we are simply saying that it is my class. That is yours. That is hers. That is theirs. Something like that. Right? That's the distributive. Each and every. For example, each student in the class is good. Distributive. The whole class is not taken, but each and everyone in the class present has been taken. That is each, right? Each and every. These are the two major words that are indicated to know distributive. Then interrogative is about the questioning. WH words, maximum, what, when, who, whose, whom, why, all those things, right? Why are you here? Why are you here? Right? So interrogative, ask the question and it needs the answer. Then relative pronouns. Relative pronouns, there are so many, the same words can be used, right? The same words can be used, the whatever the interrogative words that we have used can be used also here. For an example, the person whom I met yesterday is my friend. Here I am explaining the person. The person is my friend. So that is the main sentence. The person is my friend. That is the main sentence. But we are describing and telling about something or more things about the person whom I met yesterday. So that is about the relative pronouns. Next, the indefinite. We do not know whom we are referring to. For example, is someone outside? Someone, something like that. Okay? Is someone outside? We do not know who he is all about. So, anybody, nobody, all, none of this, something like that. We know. Indefinitely we are telling about. That's why it is called the indefinite pronouns. These are the pronouns and the types of pronouns. Go through the PDF that I am sending you. Go through the things that we have been discussing so far in your textbook and fill up the exercises. So these are the things that I wanted to tell you in this session 4. Thank you. Have a nice day.